Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to another flight in the Airbus A319. Today we will be taking the American A319 with sharklets over to Key West, and having sharklets does not only mean that we will have a better performance of our airplane flying, it also means that we are flying the uprated CFM56 engine that Phoenix has chosen to model together with this version of the aircraft. I'm really looking forward to this one, so follow me inside and we can get our A319 ready for today's service. So let's open up that flight deck and we are going to take a seat on the captain's seat over here. Engine masters off, mode selector norm, weather radar off, gear lever down, wipers off, battery voltage more than 25.5, then we can power this aircraft up. And while we're doing that, let's take a look down into the electronic flight pack to download our flight plan so that we can have a look at what we are about to do today. Starting on the significant weather chart, there is absolutely nothing on our way down to Key West, and the airport weather is good as well. A little cold over here in Dallas at 4 degrees, but overall good conditions, and Key West, variable winds, couple clouds at the sky, beautiful weather in the forecast. Our alternate in Fort Myers currently is not really suitable, but we are estimated to arrive at, let's see, 2100 UTC, so over at 2100 the weather is going to be clear again, or rather a couple of showers in the area, nothing to worry about, maybe some gusts, but again nothing to worry about. In terms of the flight plan, leaving at 18:36, we are going to arrive 20 minutes ahead of schedule, A319 with a CFM56 5B7 engine. We are all good on our weights, cruising in 370, and then looking down at the fuel section, I really don't see any reason to take extra, so let's round it up, 17,000 freedom units of fuel, and then we are good to go. Alright, so mass and balance, planned fuel, and we're gonna go with 17,000 over here, and choose GSX for boarding and fueling. Now that thing shouldn't be visible here. Alright, then they can start momentarily, and we can start as well, and we are gonna do that with the APU fire test. That is looking good. Then let's go ahead and get that APU started so that we can make it nice and comfy for when our guests arrive. ADS 1, 2, 3 going in a nav mode. Then we can do the recall over here for 3 seconds, and that is all looking good. Now let's go down for the ATSU and check this one out. So we've got the AOC menu, flight init, and data requests is in progress. And here we go, flight plan is downloaded, beautiful. And then we can also do weather request, please, for KDFW, like that. And here we go, weather request is out. So in the meantime, data, aircraft status, A319, CFM56, nav database up to date, and you can start the flight plan uplink there. While we're waiting for all of that to happen, let's go down and do some takeoff performance with the preliminary weights here. That's all looking good. Packs on. Now let's go ahead and take them off. Alright, and calculate. Flaps 166, performance limited weight is 190,000 pounds. So that's all looking good, and for our charts we are using Jeppesen, respectively Navigraph charts today, because, well, that is what they are using over at American Airlines. Okay then we've got that stuff up and the EFB is prepared for our flight, so moving back down into the procedures. Our oxygen is good, the hydraulic quantities are good, the oil quantities are good, and the flaps are up, and that agrees with the lever. Spoilers are also retracted. Let's release the parking brake here and do the alternate brake test, and that is looking fantastic. And then the parking brake is set again. Okay, so that is looking good so far. Then we do have a couple of company messages that we gotta check out. That's an old load sheet. Here's the new one, edition number 2, American 1337 on the 924, which is our aircraft. We are limited by the maximum 0 fuel weight, 2 pilots, 3 cabin crews, 120 passengers expected, portable water is full, 17,000 pounds of fuel, that's looking good, we can accept this. And then for the weather data, 350 at 8, 4 degrees, altimeter 3055. So that's 3055 set once, set twice, and set 3 times. Okay, so far so good. Now everything is done. Let me go ahead and get you the lights so that you can start the walk around. APU's been running for 2 minutes as well now, so let's get that thing going. And well, then you can head out for the walk around, and we are going to start with the cockpit preparation. Now you guys have seen this on an Airbus time and time again, so I'm not going to be talking about everything we are doing today. Instead, I will just be going over the things like we would in the real world. Okay, so up here everything is set. Moving down here, it's the 22nd, that's looking good. Frequencies to be confirmed, and weather radar set, the middle is set, the right is set. Okay, then we've done all that part of our setup, so let's go ahead and start with our FMS. So, Dallas to Key West, alternate Fort Myers, that's all in there. Then we are the American 1337. Like that, cost NX 30, flight level 370, ground temperature 4. So, departing from Dallas, runway 35 left, and we are departing on the March 3 departure, which is this one with the Zalia transition. And then arriving in a Key West, RNAV approach runway 9, Kraken 1 arrival, and the Chats transition. Insert. Okay, now let's add our emergency waypoint here. That's gonna be DFWX. I don't know, I'm gonna call it 7. So, PBD waypoint is created, DFWX7, and that thing will get a holding here as well, like that. And immediate return back to Dallas for an ILS approach, runway 35 left, 4,000 meters available. Okay, and that is looking good. Perfect, let's add the same thing to the fix info page. So Dallas 35 left, 356 radial, and Dallas emergency 7. Now for our init page, 117.6 and CG 25, block fuel 17. So 0.6, 3.0 and 2.2. That's all looking good. Flaps 1, 66 degrees. And finally, let's get ourselves some speeds. 52, 54, 58. Now, the field elevation is 600 feet, so let's do acceleration and reduction in 1000 AGL. And engine out in 1500 AGL. That thing is set, and Dallas 35 left for here as well. Cruising 370, optimum 380, and that's 370 now, and that's all looking good. Then let's go ahead and cross-check our standard instrument departure. So, March 3 departure, straight ahead on the 356 heading to intercept 013 inbound to Meckel. And we got 356, intercept 013 inbound to Meckel, and Meckel is above 4,000. Then continue via board above 6,000, Jimmy above 7,000. And that's all looking good. And then via Thor, Jane, Marsh, and Zalia. And we got Thor, Jane, Marsh, and Zalia. Alright, that's all looking good. Initial climb clearance, let's see, we're on 3.5 left, is 10,000. Like that. And then we are done with our setup. IRS alignment has just completed down here as well, that's beautiful. Well then, I'd say let's go ahead and talk about our takeoff briefing. And looks like the refueling is also finished. So that's all coming on as well. So we're going to leave Dallas, runway 35 left on the March 3 departure, climbing 10,000, MSA is 3,600, and extra fuel and time. Says minus 1.1 for now, but I think I forgot the winds. Let's see, 62 knots tailwind. Yeah, look at that, 300 pounds giving us 3 minutes. Okay, so, no hotspots for our taxi routing, and we've got a stop margin of 3,000 feet. Engine out sits straight at 25 to the Dallas X7 point, climbing 4,000. That keeps us safe above the MSA of 3,700. Our departure has got nothing special, nothing non-standard. We will be doing single engine taxi out today, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you see any threats for today's departure? No? Lovely, me neither. So that's our departure briefing completed. So, cockpit preparation checklist, please. That gear pins and covers removed, fuel quantity 17,000 pounds balanced, fasten belts on, ADR's nav, and Bajo Ref QNH 3055. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, let's go ahead and get our departure clearance. So, Dallas clearance 12825. Delivery, good afternoon, American 1337, request IFR clearance to Key West.
I'll have your clearance in just a second. American 1337 cleared to Key West via the March 3 departure, then is filed, climb and maintain 10,000. Expect flight level 37010 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.55, squawk 4411. Expect runway 35 left.
American 1337 is cleared to Key West via the March 3 departure, climbing 10,000. Departure 118.55, squawk 4411. Expect runway 35 left.
American 1337, read back correct.
Okay, so 35 left, March 3 departure is confirmed, climbing 10,000, departure 1855, and squawk 4411, like that. Alright, clearance is confirmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard American Airlines Flight 1337. Departing from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and heading to Key West International Airport.
So, boarding is almost complete.
To take your seats as indicated on your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you require any assistance, please do not hesitate to contact any member of our crew. Thank you for choosing American Airlines, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
Alrighty, then we're all set up, so the boarding should basically be completed, so let's say hello. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of American Airlines, I would like to add my welcome to my cabin crews on board of our Airbus A319 on our flight to Key West. We're expecting a flight time of approximately 2 hours and 20 minutes and a mostly smooth flight in 37,000 feet altitude. For the time being, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. If there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. And for now, we are finishing up the last paperwork, and then we will be starting our engines on our way to runway 35 left for a departure to the east. Thank you very much for being on board, and we look forward to this flight with you. Alright, the ground crew is getting ready. Then let's see what our ground frequency is. Ground east 12165. Okay, so actually, before we do this, let's quickly finish up the load sheet. So, in compliance with edition number 2, and we got a zero fuel weight of 117.5, and that's with a CG of 29.5. Okay, the takeoff weight 134.1 and the CG 27.8. So that's roughly here, so no, that's here. So an up trim of 0.5. Like this. Alright, accept, and that's all looking fantastic. Well then. Ground, good afternoon, American 1335, request pushback and startup.
American 1337, pushback and startup approved, tail west.
Pushback and startup approved, tail west, American 1337. Right, before start checklist, park and brake set, takeoff speeds and thrust, V1 152, VR 154, V2 158, and flex 66. Windows are closed and the bacon is on and tasty. Before start checklist complete.
Flight 1337, heading to Key West.
Ground flight deck.
Our estimated flight
Pushback and startup are approved, tail west, and the park and brake is set. Roger, release park and brake. So that's going to be nose right. And the park and brake is now released. Roger, start the pushback.
The seatbelt must remain fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Please return your seatbacks and tray tables to the upright position and open your
Okay,
lines for
and
takeoff.
off we go.
Ensure all mobile phones and electronic devices are set to flight mode, and larger devices
So we will
must
be doing single engine taxi out. That means we can delay our engine start a little
including
bit.
e-cigarettes is prohibited on board.
And,
Oxygen
well,
masks will drop automatically as
that's
needed.
about all there is to
Hold the
this.
mask firmly, place it over your nose and
All
mouth,
easy going today.
normally. Life vests are located under your seat. Put them on and inflate only after leaving the aircraft. Floor level lighting will guide you to the nearest exit, which may be behind you. In case of evacuation, leave all personal belongings behind.
So they do have dedicated engine start points here in Dallas, to which they're probably going to pull us forward after the push. I think that's that one over there, that X on the road. Kinda interesting that it is right on the road. I would expect it like here, just in front of the road, but I'm just assuming that any builds have done this right, and not just placed it at a wrong point. So yeah, I guess that is going to do. So start pulling us forward, and then you will immediately be able to see why we are saving so much, why we're saving so much fuel with single engine taxi. Because, well, this is gonna be like, what, 15 minutes of taxi time overall? from the moment we left the position over there. Okay, ground flight deck, we are ready to command engine start, and it will be number 1 only. Roger, clear to start. And here we go, engine 1 start.
Ready to taxi.
American 3257, runway 35 left taxi, via spot 42, Echo Lima, Lima, Echo Romeo.
Runway 35 left taxi via spot 42, Echo Lima, Lima, Echo Romeo, American 3257.
Alright, pushback completed, set park and brake. Park and brake set. Alright, and we've got a good start, number 1. Single engine taxi out guideline, please. Engine 1 start, thrust bleed open, air, thrust bleed open. Apply the after start normal procedure, but the APU can be kept running. Okay. So, 1,
Romeo
2,
2 Zulu November Echo Echo Kilo Zulu Golf spot 122 American 20.
and 3, and 4, and up 0.5.
American 2328, runway 35 left taxi, via spot 42.
Alright, so there's the tuck, and he is carrying a tow bar, which looks very interesting the way he's moving. But hey, ain't gonna complain about that. Alright, and there's the ramp agent, he is holding a pin, looking fantastic.
American 15908, runway 35 left taxi, via spot 14, Kilo, Kilo 6, Lima, Echo Romeo.
So, clear signal is received.
35 left taxi via spot 14, Kilo, Kilo 6, Lima, Echo Romeo, American 15908.
American 1337, request taxi.
American 1337, runway 35 left taxi, via spot 23, Echo Kilo, Lima, Echo Romeo.
American 1337, taxi runway 35 left, spot 23, Echo Kilo, Lima, Echo Romeo. Okay, so we are standing over here, spot 23 straight ahead, Echo Kilo, Lima, all the way southbound, and Echo Romeo is the last one over here. Alright, clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Park and brake released, let's go.
352 taxi to the gate.
American 2352, taxi to parking via Romeo 2,
Brake check,
Zulu November,
pressure 0.
Zulu Golf, spot 124.
Romeo 2 Zulu November Echo Echo Kilo Zulu Golf spot 124 American 2352.
So it seems rather busy. Let's hope that we are not going to spend an eternity at the holding point. But then again, that's what single engine taxi is good for. If you look at the fuel flow down here, right now we have about the fuel flow that we would have with both engines running and idle. The plane is accelerating very nicely with this, so we're just going straight now until we've got a proper speed. Then we'll return the engine to idle, and that's why the fuel savings start. Of course, we are not wasting any time, so all the way up to 15 knots it is. Oh, lovely departure there. So here's spot 23.
Runway 35 left taxi via spot 14 Kilo Kilo 6 Lima Echo Romeo American 614.
So Kilo is the next one. We continue straight towards Lima. The left side is clear, and the right side is clear. Alright, here's Echo Kilo.
Echo Echo Kilo spot 9er American 2302. Ground American 2581 taxi to the ramp.
Clear left and right.
Taxi to parking via Romeo 2 Zulu November Echo Echo Kilo Zulu spot 7.
So 10 knots into the turn.
Romeo 2 Zulu November Echo Echo Kilo Zulu spot 7 American 2581. Ground American 1601 taxi to the ramp.
American 1601, taxi.
Looks like this is going a little bit uphill over here, but believe me, even on single engine, the 319 has so much thrust available.
Kilo spot 22, American 1601.
By the way, we're only at 120 passengers, so let's go pack flow low, just to save a little bit more.
American 1367, runway 36 right taxi via spot 134, Golf 8, Foxtrot, Whiskey Romeo.
Runway 36 right taxi via spot 134, Golf 8, Foxtrot, Whiskey Romeo, American 1367.
Alright, so there is at least one aircraft in front of us, probably more than that. I can't really see how many more are in front of him, so
American 1339 request.
we do have time available.
American 1339, pushback approved.
Okay, caution there, similar call sign. We are 1337, he's 1339. Okay, I do see another aircraft in front of him. So, yeah, 2 aircraft ahead of us. If we commence engine start rather close to the runway, that should be absolutely fine. That's always the point. You have 3 minutes of warm-up time on the CFM56 engine before you're allowed to use high thrust settings. So you do have to be a little careful there. And time the second engine start just about right.
American 1014, taxi to the ramp.
American 1014, taxi departing via Mike 2, Mike Echo Echo.
So yeah, looks like it's 2 aircraft ahead of us, final.
Mike 2, Mike Echo Echo, Kilo spot 28, American 1014.
That's quite good. And they are going really slowly. Or he was just brake checking us and now he's accelerating again. That is of course also an option. Alright, let's go ahead and start engine number 2. So, for engine 2 start, APU bleed on, engine 2 thrust lever idle, engine mode selector ignition,
Echo 2, Echo Zulu,
everything's green, engine 2 start. Especially with an airplane as light as ours is today, you've got to be a little bit careful when the second engine comes to life, as that is going to increase your idle thrust by quite a bit. So the engine may start accelerating quite a bit as soon as the engine is started.
American 524, give way to the company ahead.
Giving way to the company 737, American 524.
And here we go, engine 2 is available. So, cross-bleed auto, APU off, start switch norm, and then we can conduct the after start checklist, which is anti-ice off, ECAM status checked, pitch trim 28%, rudder trim neutral, after start checklist complete, flight control check. Full up.
Runway 31 left taxi via spot 53.
Full down.
Bravo Echo Alpha Charlie. Bravo
Neutral.
Alpha 7 Blue Streak 5312.
Full left. Full right.
American 1337, contact tower on
Neutral.
124.15.
12415 American 1337. See ya. Okay, well, we know the rudder works, so that's good enough for me. Okay, so 12415. And we'll call him once we're actually ready here. Okay, so taxi procedures. And taxi checklist. Flight controls checked. Flap setting. Config 1+F. Radar and predictive wind shear.
Holding short of
On
runway
an auto,
17 right,
engine mode
American
select
1014.
unknown, ecam memo, takeoff, no blue.
Envoy 349
And that's the
at 0,
taxi
cross
checklist
runway
complete.
18 left.
Cross 18 left, Envoy 349 0.
Tower, good afternoon, American 1337, ready for departure.
American 1337, KDFW Tower, runway 35 left, hold short, you're number 1 behind the 737.
Holding short, 35 left, behind the 737, American 1337. Okay, parking brake is coming on, and here we go. So we forgot to start the timer after engine 2 was stabilized, but 3 minutes will be over by the time we get our takeoff clearance.
1014, hold short of runway 17 right.
So I'm not worried about that at all.
Holding short of runway 17 right, American 1014.
Alright, he's going. Then it should be our turn thereafter. Approach area seems mostly clear if I'm looking out there. I think there's one. May also be a cloud though. Well, we'll see. ATC is on it. Alright, and the 737 is airborne. I really like the way that Say Intentions have improved the traffic flow. Now it's really efficient, just like it should be.
American 1337, runway 35 left, winds 330 at 8. RNAV Mech-L cleared for takeoff.
Out of McGill, runway 35 left, clear takeoff, American 1337. Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
American 1014, cross runway 17 right.
Cross runway 17 right, American 1014.
Line up checklist. Takeoff runway 35 left, full length, TCAS, TA, RA, PAX 1 and 2, off, lineup checklist complete. Okay, are you ready for a rolling takeoff?
On runway 35
Takeoff.
left.
Envoy 3404, hold short of runway 36 left.
36L holding short, Envoy 3404.
Man flags, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue, thrust set. 100 knots, checked. V1, rotate.
Hold short of runway 18 left.
Holding short of runway 18 left,
Positive
American
climb,
817.
gear up. Nav, checked. Oh man, just loving the raw power of the A319.
American 1337, contact departure.
Over to departure, American 1337. Thrust climb, climb, auto thrust.
312, hold short of runway 36 right.
Pack 1 on.
Hold short of 36 right, blue
Flap
strike
0.
312.
Speed checked, flap 0. Okay, 1855. Lone Star departure, American 1337, passing 2,700, climbing 10,000.
American 1337, Lone Star departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000, turn left, heading 360, vectors to Mech-L, then on course.
Climb, maintain 10,000, and we will proceed to Mech-L, then on course, American 1337. Okay, acceleration flow pattern, flaps up, spoil is retracted, gear up, packs on. And that's it.
American 1337, climb and maintain flight level 220.
Climb and maintain flight level 220, American 1337. 22,000 blue. Wonderful climb performance, isn't it? Look at that. In excess of 3,000 feet a minute. Try that with an A330. The trim factor is going to be somewhere down here. Alright. Smooth air, smooth flying. I think we can turn on that autopilot now.
Contact Lone approach on 118.1.
118.1, American 1337. Lone Star approach, American 1337, passing 9, climbing 220.
American 1337, Lone Star approach. Good afternoon, Dallas altimeter 3059er.
3059, American 1337. Set QNH. .3059 cross-check, passing 13.4 now. Alright, going through 10, seatbelts off, and yeah, we no longer need any of that stuff. And clear and copy, please. So, this is clear, copy, and 3737. Okay. Talk about making a decision easy, huh? Then we got 940 miles to run, and I'd say I see you all when we start the approach into the Florida Keys. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us.
1337, climb and maintain flight level 290.
Climb and maintain level 290, American 1337. 29,000 blue.
Contact Fort Worth Center on 135.75.
Okay, my friends, we've just been given the handover to approach on 124025. Let's give him a call.
American 1337, descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,000, American 1337. Key West approach, American 1337, descending to 5,000, passing 13.2.
American 1337, descend and maintain 1500 feet.
Descending 1,500 feet, American 1337. Okay, so down to 1,500. That's basically from where the approach is going to start already. So set, and that's 1,500 checked. American 1337, any restrictions over GG?
American 1337, no restrictions over GG.
Thank you. Okay, lovely. So we got no restrictions over at GG, and that means we can... take these a little bit more relaxed over here on the way down, so... I am still aiming to follow them mostly, but we don't have to make things overly complicated, do we? Okay, so speed 250, radar descent is slowing down. And with that, light signs, EFIS, no LS. And that's it, we got GPS primary with a high accuracy. So, let's talk about the approach briefing, please. The approach is going to be flown with the Kraken 1 arrival for an ANA Runway 09, MSA 15,000 due to those balloons in the northeast of the field. And for our minimum we got 253 feet. Extra fuel and time, we're looking at 22 minutes in the form of 1,600 freedom units of fuel. Okay, so the approach is going to be guided by the flight director in final approach mode, and we will be using flaps full with maximum reverse and auto brake medium. Once the runway is in sight, I am going to switch over to the bird and flight directors off, and I will go slightly below the profile to put us somewhere in between the numbers and the aiming point, so that we make sure we touch down early, as we've got rather restrictive landing performance over here. Landing performance is a good point. Key West, runway 9 dry. Let's refresh and apply that weather with a QNH of 1008 now, which is set and cross-checked. And looking down here, 124.6 is our landing weight. Like that, with a medium auto brake, maximum reverse and manual thrust, giving us a stop margin of about 300 feet or 100 meters. Okay, and that's all I got for this one. Go around straight at 2000, and nothing special, nothing non-standard. Threats?
Cleared for the RNAV runway 9 approach via chat.
Cleared for the RNAV runway 9 via chat, American 1337. Alright, and that's it. Do you have any questions or suggestions? Nope. Lovely. So that's our briefing completed. Then, few words to the passengers, as we had forgot to do that earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, from Flight, this is your captain speaking. We've started the approach to Key West, and we expect to get clear of the clouds and get a good view of the Keys any moment now. The current weather, few clouds, temperatures of 25 degrees centigrade. Thank you for choosing American today. We hope you enjoyed the flight as much as we did, and we look forward to welcoming you again on board of a future one. Alright, passengers are briefed, and then we can do the approach checklist, please. And speed descent. So approach checklist, barrel ref, QNH 3008, seatbelts on, minimum, Baro 253, auto brake medium, engine mode selector norm, approach checklist completed. Okay, let's see. Tower will be on 18.2. And that's pre-selected. Okay, so far so nice. So then I'd say let's have a little bit of fun and take this thing over manually. One and two. Here we go. Alright, the first couple of keys are coming in sight, right in front. And even more of them over here. Too bad, last time we've been here the weather has been quite a bit nicer. But hey, can't have it all, I guess. We did have very nice weather on departure in Dallas and en route, though. The views on the landscape were really fantastic during that cruise. So I'm not gonna complain over here. Well, visibility over here is okay. But I tell you what, it's not really worth it going for a visual approach now. We might be able to cut off a minute or two, but hey, we are more than early anyway, are we? Scheduled arrival time is 21:24. Yeah, look at that, we're half an hour early. Then we don't need to worry with cutting off a minute or so. Okay, reaching the decel point, we can start slowing down. Oh, look at that, the cabin altitude's still pretty high. Well, the plane is gonna be able to figure that one out. So we got the 210 knots that we must have over chat. Maximum 210 knots, I should say. So let's just continue along the green dot speed for the time being. No need to fly overly fast here. Okay, here we go, right down to the green dot. A little bit of thrust. Incredible how long those engines take to get out of idle, isn't it? And that's actually quite realistic. Cabin pressure, low differential pressure. Okay, ecam actions. Expect high cabin rate and aircraft vertical speed reduce. Yeah, we are going slow already. The cabin is just taking its time to follow up. Okay, clear cabin pressure. Clear. Status is clear. Ecam actions complete. Yeah, I can't do much more about it than we are doing anyway. Okay, so flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. Looks like we are going to have quite a bit of tailwind there in the final. And remember, it's an A319, so it is going to be difficult to slow down. Especially with the shocklets on, which are reducing our drag even further.
American 1337, contact Key West Tower on 118.2 when established.
118.2 when established, American 1337, see ya. So, once Admiral is sequenced, we can activate the approach mode. And then, yeah, we are coming in rather quick, so flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. So, Admiral sequenced, arm approach, and final approach. Gear down. Key West Tower, good afternoon, American 1337, established on the RNAV approach, Runway 9.
American
American 1337, Key West Tower, roger. Continue approach runway 9er.
Continue runway 9er, American 1337. Okay, so
2,500.
go around altitude 2000 is set. Speed is coming back nicely.
American 1337, winds 230 at 4. Runway 9er, cleared to land.
Runway 9er, clear to land, American 1337. Alright, flaps 3. Speed check, flap 3.
American 1337, state your request.
No request. Alright, flaps full. Speed check, flaps full. Landing checklist, ecam memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Okay, this is looking quite good. So, pitch, power and performance is all spot on. A little bit low here, correcting for that. And then we can follow the approach until we see the runway. Something you might have noticed is that I did slow the airplane down rather early. That was fully intentional because it was, well, not 100% guaranteed that the airplane would slow down as well as it did currently. If you add a little bit more turbulence, a couple thermals and stuff into the equation, then, especially in an A319, these things can easily go southbound, which we don't want, do we? So I think we made the right choice here, even though at the end of the day we were stabilized like 2 miles earlier than we should have been, or than we should have been latest. Alright, I can't make out the puppies just yet.
1,000.
Checked. Okay, I think I see them now. Flight director's off, but on.
Approaching 09.
And runway heading is set.
400 meters available.
Checked. Okay, so as mentioned, on the very short final we will go a tad low and then we'll put it down right onto the markers. No later than the markers.
Caution! Short runway! Short runway!
Yep, intentional.
100 above.
Checked.
Minimum.
Continue. I'm aiming midway between the numbers and the marker right now.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard. Drive.
So, spoilers, reverse green, decel. $70 knots.
600 meters remaining.
Manual brakes.
American 1337, contact ground on 121.9er.
121.9er, American 1337.
Home to the southernmost point in the continental United States. Thank you for flying with American Airlines. Please remain seated until we reach our...
Ground hello, American 1337, vacating into Alpha 3.
Flying with American Airlines.
American 1337,
The local
runway
time
9er
in
is
Key
the
West
active
is
runway.
3:58
Say again your
p.m.
request for runway
For
19er.
those with connection,
What? No.
please note the following.
American 1337, Key
Flight
West ground, taxi to
234 to
Terminal 1
Miami.
via Alpha 3,
Departs
Bravo,
at 4:20
Charlie.
p.m. from Gate 50.
Alpha 3, Alpha Bravo Charlie to the terminal, American 1337.
30 p.m. from Gate 12.
Okay, the Allegiant is waiting, that's good. So, temperature is 24, that means we can retract the flaps. In places like these, I'm always a little careful. Okay, start APU. We're parking on spot 3. So, parking number 3 is not too small. What are you thinking? Okay, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear off, after landing checklist complete. So spot 3 is right over here, lights off. And I cannot see any ground crew, lovely. That's what happens when you arrive 20 minutes early, huh? Okay, well then, we are just gonna stop somewhere over here, that should be fine. APU bleed on, park and brake set, and shut down. Cabin crew, all doors and park. Okay. Engines are running down, and then waiting for 20% N2. Here we go, looking good. So, beacon off. Another question.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now parked at the gate. Please make sure to collect all your personal belongings.
Why doesn't it recognize the gate?
Thank you.
I guess I don't even want to know.
Welcome to Key West.
So, parking checklist. Parking brake trucks, brake set, engines off, wing light off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist complete. Well, my friends, and with that, welcome to the Florida Keys. Definitely spot 3. I got no idea why it doesn't want to recognize it, but I don't care. So that's going to be it for today's flight. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I'd appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.